Right. IBPS PO. IBPS test 52. Question number 31. Ram took a loan of 15,000 from Lakshman. It was agreed that for first 3 years, rate of interest would be charged at 8% simple interest per annum and at 10% compound interest compounded annually from the 4th month onwards. Ram did not pay anything until the end of 5th month. What would he repay if he clears the entire amount only at the end of 5th year? So first 3 years they'll charge simple interest at the rate of 8% per annum. So for 3 years they'll get 24% interest, and 4th year and 5th year, last 2 years, compound interest. Compound interest at the rate of 10% per annum. For 2 years it will be 21%. So total interest after 5 years in terms of percentage, he will pay 45%. Yes or no? Right, what is principal? 15,000. So he'll have to return 15,000 and you need to calculate 45%. 50% minus 5%. 50% is 7,500. 5% is 750. So answer 21,750. Answer is not there, but it is 21,500. $21,500 is 21,750 is final answer. I'll tell you 31 question. Whoever the examiner, ee question frame chesi nenu ela chesadu kuda chepta. This is actual process. 21,750 is final answer, but the one who framed this question, his idea is different. Yes? Is not called compounding, amma. Compound interest will start from 4th year and 5th year. So compounding will be done for only 2 years. 4th year and 5th year only, those 2 years. That is actual process. అదేనమ్మా, మీరు ఇంకా పూర్తిగా వినట్లా. నేను చెప్పిన తర్వాత కూడా ఇంకా డౌట్ ఉంటే అప్పుడు అడగండి. సో ద వన్ హూ ఫ్రేమ్ దిస్ క్వశ్చన్, హిస్ ఐడియా ఈస్ డిఫరెంట్. Initial principal is 100%. First 3 years interest is 24%. He is converting amount after 3 years as principal for 4th year. So compounding process will start after 4th year actually, but not before compound interest. Compounding ante telusu kada, converting amount to next year principal is called compounding. That you are supposed to do after 1 year interest. అర్థమవుతుందా? కాంపౌండ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ స్టార్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత 1 year తర్వాత అప్పుడు కాంపౌండింగ్ అనేది స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. కానీ ఈయన కాంపౌండ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ స్టార్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడే ఆఫ్టర్ 3 years amount gets converts to principal for 4th year. On this he is getting 10%, which is 12.4. So amount after 4th year is 136.4%. And 5th year it becomes principal. On this he has to calculate again 10%, that is 13.64%. Total it becomes 150.04%. Total interest for 5 years is 50.0%, 50.04%. And if you calculate like this, you will get answer as 22,506. But that is not right process. రైట్ ప్రాసెస్ కాదు అది. క్వశ్చన్ చేసిన ఆయనకి పైత్యం ఎక్కువ, ఆయన ఇట్లా చేశారు. కానీ యాక్చువల్ ప్రాసెస్ ఇది కాదు. సింపుల్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఈజ్ డన్ ఫర్ 3 years, దట్ విల్ బి 24%. అండ్ 4th year and 5th year యూ హ్యావ్ టు క్యాలిక్యులేట్ కాంపౌండ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఫర్ 2 years, దట్ విల్ బి 21%. ఆన్సర్ ఈజ్ 45%. 21,750 ఈజ్ ఫైనల్ ఆన్సర్. ఈ క్వశ్చన్ రాసిన ఆయన ప్రకారం చేయాలి అని అంటే ఇలా చేయాలి, కానీ ఇది కరెక్ట్ ప్రాసెస్ కాదు. If you are really looking at answer, calculate like this, you will get 22,506, but this is wrong process. Right process is 45%, 21,750. It's up to you. నేనైతే ఇదే కరెక్ట్, ఇది తప్పు ప్రాసెస్. కాంపౌండింగ్ అనేది స్టార్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత 1 year తర్వాత క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలి. బట్ ఇక్కడ ముందే జరిగింది, తప్పది. Am I clear? Right. 32. There was 120 liters of pure milk in a vessel. Of pure milk in a vessel. There was 120 liters of pure milk in a vessel. Some quantity of milk was taken out and replaced with 23 liters of water in such a way that resultant ratio between the quantities of milk and water in the mixture was 4:1. So, initially do you have any milk in the container? No. You have only pure milk. Adele, water. Do you have initially water in the container? No. You have only 120 liters of pure milk. And some quantity is taken out and you have replaced that with water. How many liters of water? 23. And after that, the ratio between milk and water becomes 4:1. So water is 1 part, milk is 4 parts. You know water content now. How much? 23. So if you have 23 liters of water which is 1 part, then 4 part becomes 4 times of this, which is 92. So initially you have 120 liters of milk. 28 liters were taken out. And 23 liters of water is added. Now what is the total content in the container now? 115. 115 liters we have. Now from this, again 23 liters of the mixture was taken out. 23 liters out of 115 liters is 20%. What about 10% of this? 11.5. 20%? 23. 23. So when you are taking 23 liters from the total quantity, which occupies 20% of the final container. Yes or no? So 20% of the water goes out and 20% of milk goes out. 20% of this? 18.4 liters of milk is taken out. And wait a minute. After that what happened? 23 liters of mixture was taken out and replaced with 27 liters of water. Now 23 liters of water we already have. 20% of this is 4.6. Let's subtract this. What about the remaining content in the container? Instead of 18.4, you subtract 20 and add 1.6. Subtract 20, 72, add 1.6, 73.6. And now subtract 4.6. First subtract 3, then you can subtract 1.6. Subtract 3, you have 20. From 20 you need to subtract 1.6, which is 18.4. And to this again you are adding 27 liters of water. If you add 27 liters of water to this, it becomes 45.4 liters. It asks about ratio. 736 by 454. Answer is not there. You don't have answer here. I think both are 2 multiples. 2 3 times, 6 times, 8 times, 2 times, 2 times, 7 times. Do you have any simplifications there? No. Next. That's final answer. Next 33. A merchant buys 2 items for 7,500. Total cost price is 7,500. One item he sells at a profit of 16%. The other item he sells at a loss of 14%. In the deal, the merchant makes neither any profit nor any loss. What is the difference between the selling price of the items? It asks about difference in selling prices. Now, finally, they are saying you are asked about selling prices, right? Now, neither gaining nor losing in the deal, he said. One item he is selling at a profit of 16%, another he is losing 14%. Profit obtained in the first case should be equal to loss obtained in second case. Then only there will be no profit, no loss. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? So 16% on first item should be equal to 14% on second item. How much percent of profit we are getting on first item? 16%. Loss on second item? 14%. Whatever the amount of profit we have in first case should be same as loss in second case. Then only there will be no profit, no loss. From this we can calculate ratio between X and Y, right? Yes or no? Y comes here, 16 goes there. That is 7 by 8. 7 by 8. What about X and Y? X and Y, cost prices. X and Y are cost prices. First item cost price is 7 parts. Second item is 8 parts. Total how many parts? 15 parts. Total cost price is 7,500. 15 parts is equal to 7,500. 15 how many times? 5 times. And then double zero. Let me calculate cost price of first item, which is 7 parts. 7 5s, 3,500. Then 8 parts will be definitely the difference, which is 4,000. But you are not asked about difference in their cost prices. If your question is about difference in their cost prices, 3,500, 4,000 difference is 1 part. From this, 7 parts and then 8 parts, you can directly calculate 1 part value. If 15 parts is equal to 7,500, 1 part is equal to 500. You can go for that as your final answer. But you are not asked about the difference in cost prices. You are asked about difference in selling prices. Right. So, on this you are getting 16% profit. On this you are getting 14% loss. 3,500. What about 16% of 3,500? 20% minus 4%. Is that fine? Let's calculate 16%. 20% minus 4%. What about 10%? 350. 20%? From this you need to subtract 4%. What about 1%? 35. 2%? 70. 4%? 140. 700 minus 140. 560. So if you get 560 profit here, the same loss you will get here. If you have any doubt, you calculate it. 1% is 40. 14% will be 14 into 40. 14 5 times 56 and then 0. Is it clear? Right. Cost price is 3,500 and profit is 560. What about total selling price in first case? 4060. Cost price is 4,000. Loss is 560. Selling price in second case is 3,440. We are asked about difference in their selling prices. Difference between these two numbers. How much is that? 620. 620 is your answer. Remember, you are not asked about difference in their cost price. That is different from difference in their selling price. %90 mistake ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఇక్కడికి రాగానే డిఫరెన్స్ 1 part 500 ఫస్ట్ ఆప్షన్ ఉంది, అదే ఆన్సర్ అనుకుంటారు. నో, యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఆస్క్డ్ అబౌట్ కాస్ట్ ప్రైస్ ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్. యు ఆర్ ఆస్క్డ్ అబౌట్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఇన్ దేర్ సెల్లింగ్ ప్రైస్. జస్ట్ బీ కేర్ఫుల్. నెక్స్ట్ 34. In a company XYZ, the respective ratio between the total number of undergraduate employees and the total number of graduate employees is 13:23. The company has only 2 branches, one in Mumbai and the other in Delhi. If the total number of undergraduate employees in Mumbai branch is 351, which is 30% of the total undergraduate employees. So 30% of undergraduates is given. To calculate total undergraduates in the company, you need to go for 100%. Yes or no? If the total is 100%, then only one branch will have 30%. Am I right? Now, I am talking about undergraduates. 30% is given as 351. And if you can calculate 100% value, then that will give you total undergraduates. Yes or no? Let me first calculate 10%, then I will go with 100%. How will you get 10% using 30? Divided by 3. Calculate, divided by 3. 117. If 10% is 117, 100% is equal to 1170. Yes or no? Total number of undergraduates in the total company is given as 13 parts and graduates are 23 parts. So 1170 is total count of undergraduates, which in terms of number of parts is equal to 13 parts. He asked about total graduates, which is 23 parts, is equal to how much? 13 10 times? How much you have? 117. This is 13 less than 130? Yes or no? In the sense 10 times minus 1 time, which is 9 times. And then you have a 0. 10 times of this number, 230 minus 1 time. 230 minus 23, 207. So it is 207. And then you need to add a 0. Answer 2070. Next 35. Prem and Sham decide to go on a trip to point Y on a particular day from point X. Both are moving in same direction. They have started from point X. Prem leaves for point Y at 11 am at a speed of 72 km per hour. Sham leaves for point Y at 11:30. What is the time difference between their starting times? Half an hour. In that half an hour time, first person can cover 36 kilometers. Because his speed is 72 km per hour, in half an hour he can cover 36 kilometers. Yes or no? Half of 72. Now, what is your question? Sham leaves for point Y at 11:30, same day as Prem left. At what speed should Sham travel to catch up with Prem in 4 hours? Both are moving in same direction. If Sham want to catch this guy in 4 hours, he has to cover extra distance. Suppose, wait a minute. Ikkada first evaru? Veedi Prem. Veedi Sham. If Sham's speed is 72 km per hour, can he catch Prem? No. If Sham's speed is less than 72 km per hour, can he catch Prem? No. If he want to catch Prem, he has to cover with more than 72 km per hour. Yes or no? Now, after how much time did Sham want to catch Prem? 4 hours. Right. In 4 hours, Sham has to cover this 36 kilometers gap. Yes or no? In 4 hours, if he want to cover 36 kilometers per hour, that will be 36 by 4. That will be 9 kilometers. So, Sham has to travel 9 kilometers more than Prem, which is 72. Answer 81 kilometer per hour. In 4 hours, Sham has to cover an extra distance of 36 kilometers. In 1 hour, he has to cover 9 kilometers extra than Prem. So that is 72 plus 9. 81 kilometer per hour is your answer. Understand everyone? (36 to 40) number series. Now, 41 to 45. So data related to number of elephants in 2 reserves of country X during 6 years. A and B. 41. Number of elephants in reserves A decreased by 25% from 2006 to 2007. 2006. How much you have? 96. And if it decreases by 25%, and number of elephants in reserve B increased by 15% from 2006 to 2007. What was the total number of elephants in reserves A and B together in 2007? Now let's calculate it for 2007 direct value. In 2006, reserve A has 96 elephants, and which decreases by 25%. Decreases minus 25%, 1/4. What about half of this number? 48. So 50% is 48. 25% is again half. Half of 48, 24. Don't calculate. Don't calculate. And in reserve B, how many elephants we have? 80. And which increases by 15%. 10% of this number? 8. 15%? 12. 12. Yes or no? Increases by 12. Now, our initial value, forget about initial value. We have minus 24 and then plus 24. What is total effect? Minus 12. Minus 12. What about the initial value? 176. Minus 12. 164. Don't do it separately. 42. Number of elephants in reserve A increased by what percent from 2001 to 2005? Reserve A, diamond. 2001 we have 32 and in 2005 52. 32 increases to 52. Increased by 20 from 32. 20 out of 32 percentage into 100. Cancellation with 4, 5 times, 8 times. What do you mean by 5 by 8? 62.5%. In explanation, I think this is 4th time I am going to explain about this. 1 by 8, 12.5%. 3 by 8, 37.5%. 5 by 8, 62.5%. 7 by 8, 87.5%. Every time it increases by 25%. 25 plus 12.5, 37.5. 37.5 plus 25, 62.5. 62.5 plus 25, 87.5. You should remember these conversions. That will save your time, simplification time. Next. What is the respective ratio between total number of elephants in reserve A in 2003 and 6? 2003 and 6. Reserve A. In 2003 we have 36 and in 2006 96. Yes or no? 36 plus 96. You're asked about ratio by number of elephants in reserve B in 2005 and 6. 2005 64 plus 80 144. 144. Our numerator is 132. 132. Both are 12 multiples, I think. 12 how many times? 11 times 12. 12 times. 11 by 12. What is the average number of elephants in reserve B during 2001, 3, 5, 6? B. Just now we have, this is total number of elephants in reserve B in 2005 and 6, which is 144. Yes or no? To this number you need to add extra 2 values. Yes or no? So that is for 2001 and 2003. 2001 18. 2003 42. 18 plus 42 60. Add 60. You are asked about average divided by 4. How much is this? 204 by 4. 204 by 4. How much is this? 51. 45. Out of the total number of elephants in reserve A and B together, in 2002, only 40% were African elephants, and out of the total number of elephants in reserves A and B together in 2004, only 65% were African elephants. What is the difference between the total number of African elephants in reserve A and B together in 2002 and that in 2004? Let me first calculate 2002 and 2004 total number of elephants. 2002 and then 2004. Let's first calculate total number of elephants. 2002 we have 42 plus 28, 70. And in 2004, 56, 44, 100. In 2002, 40% are African elephants. 40%, 10% is 7. 40% is 4 sevens, 28. These were African elephants. And in 2004, 65%. 65% of this is 65. And you are asked about difference. Difference of these two numbers. 37. 46 to 50? Any particular question? Come on, 51 to 55. Quarterly reports affect. Ay, మగపిల్లలు ఎవరు మాట్లాడుతున్నారు? ఆడపిల్లలే కామ్గా ఉన్నప్పుడు మీరు ఎందుకు మాట్లాడతారు? Quarterly report of a car model manufactured and sold by a company in different countries. We have 5 countries. We have percentage here. When you add everything, that should be equal to 100%, right? Yes or no? Right. So share in global production. The percentage of cars sold out of the total production in respective countries. So out of 25%, 80% were sold. And selling price of one car, 6.5 lakhs, given in lakhs of rupees. And what is the total global production here? 40,000. Out of 40,000, countries A share is 25%, which is 10,000. And countries B share is 30%. 10% is 4,000. 30% is 12,000. 10% is 4,000. 20%, 8,000. 15% is in between 10 and 20. In between 4,000 and 8,000 we have 6,000. When you add everything, that will be equal to definitely 40,000. ఎక్కడ దాకా ఇలాగ వచ్చాం కదా, అంత అది కూడా ఫిల్ చేసేస్తే అయిపోద్ది. Otherwise do it is when it is required. Number of cars sold in company A is 80%. 80% of what? 10,000. How much is that? 8,000. Which is 50% of 12,000. 6,000. 70% of this. 10% is 400. 70% is 7 into 400. 2,800. 75% of 8,000. Half plus half. Half is 4,000. Half 6,000. 60% of this number. 10% is 600. 60% is 6 into 600. 3,600. Okay. Right. యాక్చువల్గా అయితే చేయకూడదు, అవసరమైనప్పుడే చేయాలి. బట్ నేను ముందే చేసి పడేశాను అంతే, ఊరికే మీరు చేయకండి అట్లా. అంటే ఈ కన్వర్షన్ చూపించడానికని మీకు చెప్పాను ఇక్కడ నేను. డోంట్ ట్రై టు ఫిల్ దిస్ గ్యాప్ బికాస్ యూ నో హౌ టు డూ ఇట్. Do it when it is really required. 51. What is the respective ratio between sales of the sales of the total number of cars sold in country D and the sales of the total number of cars sold in country E? This is with respect to D and E. Is it about number of cars or price? In bracket they have mentioned rupees. In country D, how many cars were sold? 6,000. And each car price is 5.5. So total selling price is 6,000 into 5.5. And in company E, how many were sold? 3,600. And each cost is 7 lakhs. So that is 3,600 into 7 lakhs. 2 zeros cancel. 6 times, 10 times. Do you have any more cancellations? No. 55, 42. 55 by 42. First option. 52. If the cost price for manufacturing a car in company C is 4.5 lakh, what is the percentage of profit earned by the car on each car sold in the country? On each car. You are not asked to calculate total profit. On each car. Company C, what is its selling price? 6 lakhs. And cost price? 4.5 lakhs. What is profit? 1.5 lakh out of 4.5 lakh. You need to calculate profit percent or loss percent only on cost price. Cost price is 4.5 lakhs. Selling price 6 lakhs, so profit is 1.5 lakh. It asks about profit into 100. 1.5 by 4.5. 1 by 3. 1 by 3 in the sense 33, 1 by 3%. Clear? Yes or no? Next. Fourth option is your answer. Next 53. What is the total number of cars which remained unsold, underline that, unsold in the given quarter in the countries C and E together? C and E, unsold cars. In company C, we have total 4,000. Out of 4,000, 2,800 were sold, remaining 1,200. And for E, out of 6,000, 3,600 were sold, remaining 2,400. Total number of unsold items, unsold cars are 3,600. 54. What is the difference between the total number of cars manufactured in countries A and B together and the total number of cars manufactured in C and D together? It's about manufacturing. It's about manufacturing. A, B and then C, D. It asks about difference. A, B and then C, D. It asks about difference, right? 10,000, 12,000. Need not to calculate, just information. C and D, 4,000, 8,000. Together, 12,000. 12,000, 12,000 cancel. Extra number, 10,000. That's your difference. The total number of cars sold in countries A and B together form what percent of the total number of cars manufactured in all the countries together in that particular quarter? Total number of cars sold in A and B together. Sold in A and B. How much is this? 14,000. 14,000 cars forms what percent of total production? Total production, which is 40,000. Let's come here. What about 10%? 4,000. 20%? 8,000. 30%? 12,000. So 30% is equal to 12,000. Still you need to add 2,000 to make it 14,000. What about 10%? 4,000. 5%? So answer? 35%. (57) 56 to 57. In a bag there are 3 types of colored balls: red, white, blue. The probability of selecting one red ball out of the total is 1/2. Red ball, white ball and then blue ball. From this statement, the probability of selecting one red ball out of the total balls is 1/2. If you have total number of balls 2, red balls will be half. Yes or no? So red colored balls will be equal to combined balls of white and then blue. Yes or no? Right. Next, the probability of selecting one blue ball out of the total balls is 2/7. If this is 2 parts, together that will be 7 parts. Yes or no? Next, the white color balls is in the bag is 6. From this, you know that red colored balls occupies 50% of the total number of balls. Yes or no? Now, 2 out of 7. 2 out of 7 and remaining these 2 should be equal to 5 parts, right? Yes or no? What is probability of getting blue ball? 2 out of 7. What are total number of balls? 7 parts. Out of 7, red colored ball will be 50%. Yes or no? So if it is 3.5 parts, 50% of denominator. 3.5. These 2 together should be equal to 3.5. We already have 2 parts here. So white colored balls will be 1.5 part. Is this clear? Now, white colored balls are equal to 6. 1.5 is equal to 6. Otherwise, let's eliminate decimal here. Multiply every number with 2. Multiply every number with 2. 7 parts. 3 parts. 4 parts. Now look at here. How many white colored balls we have? 6. 3 parts is equal to 6. 7 parts, 14. 4 parts, 8. Done. Question number 56. Understand everyone? If all the balls are numbered starting from 1, 2, 3 and so on, what is the probability of selecting one ball which is numbered as a multiple of 3 or 7 out of the total number of balls? So total how many balls we have? 28. You have to pick one ball. In how many ways can you do that? 28 C1. And the numbered ball should be a 3 multiple or 7 multiple. How many 3 multiples will be there in first 28? How many 3 multiples will be there in 28? 9 numbers. Or how many 7 multiples will be there in 28? 4. But you have a number which is a multiple of 3 and multiple of 7. 3 and 7 multiple. Which is common multiple for 3 and 7? 21. How many 21s will be there here? 1. So that 21 is counted in 3 multiple and also in 7 multiple. So you have to subtract it for 1 time. Because 21 is counted for 2 times. 1 in 3 multiple, other in 7 multiple. It is counted for 2 times, but you are supposed to take it for only 1 time. Subtract it. 13 minus 1. 12. 12 by 28. Both are 4 multiples. 3 by 7. Probability is 3 by 7. What are the total number of balls in the bag? 28. ఆ బొమ్మ చాలు నాకు రాదు అది. 59. Quantity 1, polynomial, 18x cube y cube, and quantity 12 x to the power of 4 and then y to the power of 4. 18 x cube y cube, this is q1, and then q2, 12 x to the power of 4 y to the power of 4. If x is greater than 0 and y less than 0, x greater than 0, positive number, y less than 0, negative number. So y is negative and x is positive. And you need to calculate quantity 1 and then quantity 2 comparison. Forget about this number. 18 and 12, forget about it. X to the power of 3. X is more than 1. Is it going to be positive number or negative number? Positive. Y to the power of 3. Negative number. So the entire quantity 1 will be negative number. Yes or no? And then x to the power of 4. X is positive number, you will get positive number here. If y is negative and y to the power of 4, y to the power of 4 will be positive number. Quantity 2 is positive. Quantity 1 is negative. Yes or no? Right. You need not worry about 18 and 12. In place of 18 and 12, you may have any number. But overall picture, quantity 1 is negative. Quantity 2 is positive. You have negative number and positive number. Quantity 2 is more than quantity 1. Yes or no? Next. Sixtieth. The speed of a boat in still water and the speed of the current is 6:1. Speed of the boat in still water and speed of the current, man speed and then stream speed, is equal to 6:1. If the difference between the distance covered by the boat in 2 hours upstream and in 2 hours downstream is 8 kilometers, distance covered in upstream and downstream for 2 hours, difference is given. Yes or no? For 2 hours, if it is 8 kilometers, per hour that will be 4 kilometers. 4 kilometers per hour. What is this? What is 4 kilometers per hour? Difference in Difference in. ఇదిగో అక్కలు మీ పండగ పూట తిట్టించుకోదు, ముందే చెప్తున్నా. మాది కాదు ఏమయ్యా చిచ్చి, మీకే ఈరోజు పండగ. మామూలుగా తిట్టడం మీ ఇష్టం చెప్తున్నా. వాట్ ఈస్ 4 km/h? డిఫరెన్స్ ఇన్. వాళ్ళ వల్ల కాదు నాన్న, మీరు చెప్పండి. వాళ్ళ వల్ల కాదే, మీరు చెప్పండి. అప్ స్ట్రీమ్ అండ్ డౌన్ స్ట్రీమ్. సో మేము చెప్పిన తర్వాత కాదు. డౌన్ స్ట్రీమ్ అండ్ దెన్ అప్ స్ట్రీమ్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఈస్ 4 km/h. Yes or no? What do you mean by this? M plus S. What is this? M minus S. Downstream minus upstream will give you 2S. 2S. 2S is equal to 4 km/h. From the ratio, man speed is 6 parts. Stream speed is 1 part. 2S is 2 parts. S is 1 part. 2S is 2 parts. If 2 parts is 4 km/h, man speed is 6. Man speed is 6 parts, which is 12 km/h. Stream speed is 1 part, which is 2 km/h. Now look at your question. ఏం అడిగారు? క్వాంటిటీ 1 కింద ఉంది, ఇక్కడ చూస్తున్నారు మీ తలకాయ. క్వాంటిటీ 1, స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ ది బోట్ ఇన్ స్టిల్ వాటర్ 12. క్వాంటిటీ 1 12. Speed of cyclist who goes 28 kilometers in 2 hours. In 2 hours he can cover 28 kilometers. Per hour he can cover 14 km/h. So quantity 1 is 14, whereas quantity 2 is 14 km/h. Quantity 1 less than quantity 2. Clear? (61 to 65). అక్కలో పూజలు గీజలు మొత్తం చేశారా ఈరోజు? ఎస్సా నువ్వా? మీరు చేయక మేము చేయక మరి ఏం చేయాలమ్మా? పూజలు ఎవరు చేయాలి? మీరే చేయాలి. ఆడపిల్లలు నువ్వు ఒక్కదాని అమ్మాయి, మిగిలిన వాళ్ళు నువ్వు చెప్తున్నారు వెనకాళ్ళు. మంచి అమ్మాయి నువ్వు అయితే. ఉన్నారు విగ్రహ పుష్టి. కమాన్ 61. మరి ఎవరు చేసే పనులు వాళ్ళు చేయాలి. మీరు I did not say anything. Come on. 61. The total number of, if you want me to say one thing, నేను ఇదొకటి చెప్తా. మంత్రాలకి చింతకాయలు రాలు. నువ్వు పొద్దునంతా పూజ చేసావు, నీకేం వచ్చింది? మాకేం రాలేదు. ప్రశాంతత నీకంటే బ్రహ్మాండంగా ఉందా? నేనైతే ప్రశాంతంగా, నా అంత ప్రశాంతంగా నాకు తెలిసి ఎవరు ఉండరు మీలో. అట్లీస్ట్ ప్రసాదం నాకు 4 పెట్టారు ఈరోజు. 4 పెట్టారు, నేను ఒక్క పూజ చేయలా. మా ఇంట్లో పెట్టలేదమ్మా, పక్కింట్లో పెట్టారు, అదే బాధ. 61. ఇప్పుడు నన్ను చూసిన తర్వాత మా ఇంట్లో ఎట్లుంటుందో అర్థమై ఉండాలి మీకు. అర్థమై ఉండాలి. పక్క నుంచి గొణుగుతా ఉంటా ప్రతిసారి. 4 సార్లు చేస్తారు, 5వ సారికి ఏమంటారు? చీ పొరా నీ బతుకు, నువ్వు నేను చేయను, నువ్వు చేయకు, సావు నీ సావు నువ్వు సావు అన్నట్టుగా ఉంటుంది ఇంట్లో పరిస్థితి. అట్లానే ఉంటుంది. నేను చేయను, పక్కన వాళ్ళ ఇష్టం వాళ్ళది, మాకు సంబంధం లేదు. 61. The total number of assistant professor teachers. What about this? Percentage of professors and assistant professors together in 6 different subjects in the university X. Total number is 150. Right. And that is percentage of professors teaching 6 different universities This is information about professors and assistant professors who are 150, and this is about information only professors. Professors are 50. Out of 150, 50 are professors. Assistants are 100. Now, 61. The total number of assistant professors teaching economics and English together. Assistant professors. Are what person more than total number of professors teaching these two subjects together? Economics and English. Economics, English. In terms of percentage, both professors and assistants together is 34% of 150 is equal to 150% of 34. 150% of 34 or 35% of 150, whatever. How will you get 150%? Adding 50%. What is 50% of this? 17. 34 plus 17? 51. So professors and assistants both together is 51. And only professors in English and economics. Economics and English together 30%. 30% of what? 50. How much is that? 15. So out of 51, 15 are professors. Then what about assistant professors? Difference 36. Now look at your question. What is that? Total number of assistant professors teaching economics and English together, who are 36, is what percent of total number of professors? What percent more? 36 is how much more than 15? 21. That of 15 percentage, right? So into 100. 100% is 15. Still it is how much more? 6 more. 10% of this? 1.5. 20%? 3. 40%? 6. So 6 is equal to 40%. 15 plus 6, 21, which is 140%. 62. If the ratio, respective ratio between total number of male professors and the number of female professors is 9:14. 9:16. And the respective ratio between total number of male assistant professors and the total number of female assistant professors is 9:11. What is the total number of female professors and assistant professors teaching the 6 given subjects? What is your question? What is the total number of female professors and assistant professors? Okay, fine. So how many professors we have? How many professors we have? 50. And 50 is divided in the ratio 9:16. So total how many parts we have? 25 parts is 15. 1 part is 2. Female professors are 16 parts. And 16 parts, which is equal to 32. Out of total 150, if 50 are professors, remaining 100 are assistant professors. And whose ratio between male and female is 9:11. Total how many parts we have? 20. 20 parts is 100. 1 part is 5. 11 parts is 55. So female assistant professors, female professors, together it is 87. What is the average number of professors teaching computer science? Professors. Computer science, psychology, English, sociology. What about the remaining subjects? English and? No. Hindi and economics? Remaining are Hindi and economics, right? Apart from these two, you are asked about everything. These two together is 28%. Out of total 100%, if 28% is here, what about remaining? 72%. Were you asked about average or the total? Average. 72% of what? 50. But you are asked about average. This is for how many subjects? 4 subjects. 72 by 4. 18. 18. 4 10 times 40. 4 20 times 80. You have 72, which is 8 less than 80. 80 is 20 times. 80 is 2 times. 20 times minus 2 times? 20 minus 2. So this is 18% of 50 or 50% of 18. A percent of B or B percent of A. 50% of 18 is 9. What is that central angle corresponding to the number of professors and assistant professors teaching Hindi? Central angle, professors and assistant professors, 12. 12. What is 100%? 100% is equal to 360 degrees. 12% is equal to how much? 10% plus 2%? 10% is 36. 1% is 3.6. 2% is 7.2. Total 43.2 degrees. What percent of professors are teaching psychology and sociology together? Out of total number of professors and assistant professors teaching in these two subjects together. It asked about percentage. Psychology and sociology. Professors in psychology and sociology. Professors in psychology and sociology. Psychology 12, sociology 16, total 28%. 28% of what? 50. And you have to calculate this as a percentage with respect to? With respect to total number of professors and assistant professors in two subjects together. Sociology 18, psychology 14, total 32% of 150. So it is 32% of 150. Percentage, right? So into 100. 50 how many times is 150? So this is 1 by 3. Straight forward. 28 by 32. How much is this? 7 4 times. 4 8 times. This is 7 by 8. 8 3 is 24. Now, what about 50% of this? 12. 25%? 6. But how much is there in numerator? How much is there in numerator? How much extra? How will you get 1 using 6? 1/6. Calculate 1/6. 6 4 times 24. You still have 1 by 6. Total 29 1 by 6%. RRB data sufficiency. Yeah, సారు నేను ఇద్దరు మాట్లాడుకున్నాము, ఆల్మోస్ట్ సేమ్ అని చెప్పారు. $51 to $55, right? నేను చూసుకుంటాను. Now, వర్షం పడుతుందా? ఇది ఒకటి. కరెక్ట్గా పెయింట్ వేద్దాం అనుకుని స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము, పడుతుంది. How much time will the boat take to cover a distance of 63 kilometers upstream? How much time? You are asked about time. Time to cover 63 kilometers in which stream? Upstream. If you can calculate upstream speed, then only you will get your answer. Yes or no? Now, first one. The difference between the time taken by the boat to travel from A to B upstream and the time taken by it to travel from B to A is 2 hours. You are given time difference. Time taken to travel upstream and time taken to travel downstream is equal to 2. From this will you get upstream speed? No. Next, the distance between A and B is 45 kilometers and the speed of the boat in still water is 12 kilometers per hour. Using this, will you get your answer only 2 alone? Using 2 alone, will you get answer? No. Using 1 and 2, time taken in upstream is distance travelled by upstream speed minus distance travelled by downstream speed, that is equal to 2 hours. This is what? First information. And in second information, it is given the distance between A and B is 45. So distance is 45. I am combining 1 and 2. Distance is 45. Upstream speed in the sense m minus s. Downstream is m plus s. And you are given stream speed also. Speed of the boat in still water. Sorry, man speed is given. Speed of the boat in still water 12 km per hour, which is m. m is equal to 12. m is equal to 12. If you combine 1 and 2, this is what you can form. Yes or no? Using this, first of all tell me how many equations you have now? How many equations you have? 1. How many variables are there? 1. Using this, will you get S value or not? If you have man speed and then stream speed, can't you calculate upstream speed? Will you get answer? When will you get it? Both are required. 1 and 2 will give you answer. (52) There are 2 cylindrical rollers, bigger and smaller. How many rotations will the bigger roll take to flatten a stretch of a land? Road roller తెలుసు కదా? ఓ పెద్దది ఉంది, ఒకటి చిన్నది ఉంది. పెద్ద దాంతో రోల్ చేస్తా ఉంటే ఎన్ని రొటేషన్స్ కావాలి అని అడుగుతున్నారు. వాట్ డు యు నీడ్ టు నో? వాట్ డు యు నీడ్ టు నో? If you want to calculate number of rotations, what do you need to know? First of all, how much is the stretch? Length enta? To flatten a stretch of a land annar kada, you need to know this land. How much is that? Yes or no? Right. First of all, adi unte tarvata chuddam. And then, ipude maatadisukundam enduku. What is the other variable that is required here? If this is your roller, you need to know radius or diameter, right? Come on. First one, the respective ratio of radii of the bigger and smaller roller is 7:3. Both the rollers are of same length. Length in the sense, this is what? This is length. And this is roller radius or diameter. You have 2 rollers of equal length. Length is same, but its radius is different. Both of their lengths are same. And first one radius is 3 parts, and the second one, bigger one, radius is 7 parts. Using this, will you get answer? No. What is required? Length of the land. Land area is required. Yes or no? Right. Using 1 alone, you will not get the answer. Land గురించి తెలియదు కదమ్మా. ఇప్పుడు రోలర్ ఉంది, ఇప్పుడు ఇదే డయాస్ అనుకుందాం. డయాస్ కి చిన్న రోలర్ ఒకటి ఉంది, పెద్ద రోలర్ ఒకటి ఉంది. ఈ చివరి నుంచి ఆ చివరి దాకా దీన్ని డొల్లించాలి. చిన్న దాంతో దొర్లిచ్చాం, దాని రేడియస్ 3 పార్ట్స్, పెద్ద దాని రేడియస్ 7 పార్ట్స్. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ఎన్ని రొటేషన్స్ కావాలి అంటే మీకు ఎప్పుడు చెప్పగలరు? ఈ లెంత్ ఎంతో తెలియాలి, అంతేనా? డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అబౌట్ ద లెంత్ ఆఫ్ ద ల్యాండ్ or the area of the land? No, not there. So 1 alone will not give you answer. Next, second one, the smaller roller takes 63 rotations to flatten the stretch of the land. Using 2 alone, will you get answer? No. Enduku? Chinnadaniki peddadaniki comparison ledhu. There is no comparison between the smaller roller and bigger roller in second information. Will you get answer from only 2 alone? No. If you combine both 1 and 2, will you get or not? Yes. Using 3 parts radius, if it takes 63 rotations, using 7 parts, how many rotations will you get? Using 63 rotations, you can calculate length of the land. Yes or no? Right. When will you get it? Both 1 and 2. Next. $53. An item was sold after giving a certain discount on the market price. What was the percentage of discount given? It asked about percentage of discount. They said some percentage of discount is given and you are asked to calculate that. Number 1, 53. The profit earned after giving a discount is 44%. Had the percentage of discount been doubled, the profit earned would have been 28%. In the very first case, let's say, he is giving discount of X% on market price 100%. Market price is something. On that he is giving X% discount and he is getting a profit of how much percent? 44%. 44%. Now, that becomes 144% of the cost price. Selling price in the first case. Are you getting my point or not? Now, if it doubles it, profit is going to be 28% only. In that case, selling price is 128% of the cost price. This is with X% discount and this is with 2X% discount. What is difference between these two? 144 and 128. What is difference? 16%. 16% profit got reduced because of X% extra interest. So X% interest is equal to if this X% discount is also not given, selling price will become 144 plus 16, that is 160% of the cost price. Yes or no? X%, 16%. X%, 16%. So, market price is 160% of the cost price. After giving X%, it becomes 144%. So, what is difference here? What is difference here? What is that called? Discount. Discount percent calculate cheyali. Discount is 16. Out of 160, 16 is what percent? 10%. So, X is 10%, which is discount. ఇనీషియల్ గా ఇక్కడ X% ఇచ్చారమ్మా, ఇంకొక X% ఇస్తే 16% అవుతుంది, డిక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది వాల్యూ. సో X% 16 అని అనుకుంటున్నాం. ఈ X% డిస్కౌంట్ ఇచ్చాక 144 అయితే ఇది ఇవ్వక ముందే ఎంత అంటే ఆ 16 పెరుగుతుంది, 160. సో డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ దీస్ టూ నంబర్స్ ఈజ్ 16. 16 as a percentage with respect to 160 is 10%. So discount percentage is 10%. So 1 alone will give you answer. Next, second one. The cost price of the item is 400. Who requires cost price? Do you need cost price? No. 2 alone is not required or not sufficient also. $54. What is the respective ratio of initial investments of A and B? A started the business by investing certain amount and he invested for the whole year, 12 months. B joined A after 4 months from the start of the business and invested the rest of the year. So he will be there for 8 months. The profit earned by A and B and the respective ratio 7:8. What is your question? Ratio of investments. Profit sharing ratio is given as 7:8. We'll write it as 7/8. Profit sharing ratio will be equal to investment multiplied by time ratio. Investment of A into time period 12 months. Investment of B and he will be there for only 8 months. 8 cancel. Investment of A by investment of B becomes 7/12, which is 7:12. Will you get answer or not? 1 alone is sufficient. 2 alone. The initial investment of B was 10,800. Using 2 alone, will you get answer? No. 1 alone will give you answer. One alone will give you answer. Are you getting my point? Because you are asked to calculate ratio of investments. In the same question, if at all if you are asked to calculate what are the respective initial investments of A and B, when will you get your answer? Both 1 and 2 are required. From the first equation you will get only ratio, but from the second part you have B's initial investment. So 12 parts is equal to 10,800, 7 parts is equal to how much? If you calculate that, you will get initial investment of A as well as B. B is already there. Yes or no? Right. X square by 7 minus x plus 6 by 7 is equal to 0. Take common, 7 common in denominator. Take 7 common in denominator. X is minus 7x plus 6. X square minus 7x plus 6 is equal to 0. Is it a perfect square? So you'll get two values. అంటే దీని నుంచి నా ఉద్దేశం ఏంటంటే x minus 1 whole square is equal to 0 అనో x minus 2 whole square is equal to 0, x minus 3 whole square is equal to 0. Will you get something like this from this equation? You're sure about it, right? So you'll get combination x minus some constant k1 into x minus some constant k2 is equal to 0. K1 and k2 values will change. Will you get something like this or not? In that case, will you get one value or two values? So will you get definite value for x here? No? So there is no need to solve this question. If you are really interested, you can. X minus 1 into x minus 6 is equal to 0. X is equal to 1 or x is equal to 6. Are we getting definite value? Two values. One alone is not sufficient. 2. The value of 3 to the power of x minus 2 and 9 to the power of 2x minus 3. You can write 9 as 3 square to the power of 2x minus 3. So that will be 3 to the power of x minus 2 into 3 to the power of 4x minus 6 is equal to, you can write 9 as again 3 square. 3 square to the power of 5x minus 19. So 3 to the power of 10x minus 38. Left hand side value will become like this. A power m into a power n is equal to a power, right? Using that concept, it becomes like this. Base values are same, exponents will be same. X plus 4x, 5x minus 8 is equal to 10x minus 38. 5x is equal to 30, x is equal to by 5. How many values we have? Do you have definite value or not? Yes. Right? Tomorrow, రేపు అన్ని ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్స్ ఆర్కే సారే తీసుకుంటారు. I will join on Monday. Okay? Clerk, IBPS PO, RRB PO కూడా ఆర్కే సారే తీసుకుంటారు.